Yes, Theodore. You help to pop out Tanya again? Yeah, you pop out Tanya. They don't know what I'm doing, but they know that like on certain nights, Abba has to go to work. And then my elder son will ask me, oh, from what time to what time? And he'll be like, no, it's too long. This is pretty much a typical day. Breakfast with them. So it's usually quite hectic early in the morning because I have two boys, drop them off at school, drop my wife, and then on to work. We're all leading busy lives, MP or not. It's just about finding a balance, finding time for every priority in your life. Thank God for childcare. Hey boys, we're reaching. It's a little squeezy, okay? We all wear multiple hats. There's a lot of pre-election preparatory work, coordinating and having various meetings with different teams, engagement with the press, social media, working with photographers, videographers. So I guess the policy research work and the media-related work, these two aspects of it are quite heavy in terms of our GE preparation. Sometimes people would think that I'm older than I really am because of my lack of hair maybe. I think at this point in time, we count with one hand the number of MPs below the age of 40. It's important to have young voices in Parliament to provide that formal input into policy making, into the decision making. The percentage of people which are below the age of 40, it's close to 50%. They have a say in how their future is going to be because the youth of today are basically going to be the leaders of tomorrow. The last couple of years, it was an extraordinary period with COVID. It uprooted a lot of convention and the way we do things. What exactly is important to us as society? At some point, you just realize I'm running in this hamster wheel, just trying to play catch-up, just becoming increasingly tiring. The cost of living is really front and center of everyone's minds whenever we engage our residents. You may see that the inflation rate has come off, but it doesn't mean that prices are coming down. That's the biggest issue here. Just look around the hawker centres. You'll be hard-pressed to find a cup of kopi for less than $1. A regular plate of fried rice is like $5. Within the cost of living issue, the cost of housing is quite pertinent because even though it may not be in your core inflation measure, that's just the way that we define it, right? Housing and transport, private transportation. Housing is the single largest purchase for any resident here in Singapore, especially given our model of home ownership. Resale HDB prices in the last 4 years, it has gone up by more than 40%. It is even higher than your private residential prices, which has gone up by 35%, 30%. Cost of renting a private residential apartment gone up by more like 50% or so. There's no statistics on how much the cost of renting an HDB flat is, but just based on the median rentals over the years, it has gone up anything from between like 30 to 80% in the last 3 to 4 years. So I think the question that we've got to ask ourselves is this indicative of an affordable housing market or more importantly, a sustainable housing market? Think about any asset class globally where you have prices rising by 40-80% in the last 4 years. That's not sustainable. So clearly there is more that needs to be done to ensure that there is sufficient housing, sufficient affordable housing for Singaporeans. I have no idea why the HDB is so resistant to the idea of renting. Home ownership has been the model, something which was introduced 50 years ago. When it comes to public policies, I think there will come a point in time where you need to recognize that what has worked for the past 50 years may not necessarily work for the next 50 years. Fundamentally, we need to ask ourselves whether we want to continue this practice whereby your house is both a home as well as an appreciating asset. If that remains the model, then I think that is not sustainable. And that is something which we're going to be seeing the consequences of very, very soon. The CPF in its current form is not working. And if we really want to help Singaporeans build up their retirement nest egg, we really need to rethink how we actually derive the formula for our CPF returns. On one hand, you have CPF savings indirectly being channeled for investment purposes through the Government of Singapore Investment Corporation, GIC. And over the long term, you see that the GIC credits to them are doing a fairly good job in terms of gaining 6-7% type returns over the long term. We look at what they are actually giving to Singaporeans for their CPF savings. Your OA is at 2.5%, your SA is at 4%, but it is hard to kind of not wonder whether or not the long-term returns from investing our CPF savings could be shared with fellow Singaporeans as well.